Hi everyone, Stefan de Vreese here. On today's video, I want to talk about something that a lot of customers ask me when I get them on the phone, like, how do you know when you're really ready to scale? A lot of businesses, a lot of business owners really want to grow their business from a startup to a scale up and beyond that. And a lot of businesses can do that. Um, But the people that I get on the phone really have um, some struggles, some roadblocks, where they somehow cannot go from that startup situation into that scale up situation. So there's something like missing to really get them into scaling up their business. And when I ask the question, then like, yeah, do you really know that you're ready to scale, or how will you do the scaling? And most of them answer like, okay, I just need to add more customers, right? I just need to find more customers, and then I'm able to scale, and then I will be scaling to the moon without a problem, right? Well, not so much. I mean, look, there's a lot of things that you need to have to in place and able to be able to scale, right? Um, it's not only about adding more customers, and that's where a lot of business owners go wrong, where they just want to like fast track the amount of customers that they are going to add to their business. But in the end, when they do that, things start to break down because they haven't thought about all the other things that needs to be ready to be able to sustain the scale, because that's what needs to happen. You have to create a solid foundation for your business in order to sustain the scaling. Uh, and I know that a lot of these business owners are so much into fulfillment. They have to do day-to-day tasks. They have to follow up with their team. They have to put out fires. They have to talk to the customers. So there's so much in the business that they don't really realize uh, what they need to do actually to be able to do the scaling, to be able to build that foundation. And within our program, that's what we try to coach them on. We use this kind of formula, let's say, where we help them get more clarity on the things that they need. The pieces of the puzzles seem like pretty obvious, but it's only when you start thinking about it and that you realize that sometimes some of these pieces are there, but either they're not really working well enough, or they're not just um, good enough or like solid enough to build that whole puzzle. Or if you want to use the analogy of a house, uh, you can have already a nice house, but if you want to build a skyscraper where you build the house, first of all, you'll need a better foundation for that. So instead of looking at how big you can build a skyscraper and what kind of windows you will need or how it should look like, you should look at the foundation first. And so the pieces of the formula that we use are three things. First of all is leadership. So think about how you are as a leader. Are you really able to let go of micromanagement? Because you will not be able to scale if you keep micromanaging everything, right? It's just not feasible. You will have more stress, have more things to do, and you will not have enough time to do it. So you will just crumble down under the pressure, and that's the least thing that you want, because again, it has to be fun, right? To scale, it has to be great to do that. But if you're in a situation that you're not even able to um, if you're not able to enjoy the scaling or the whole process, then it becomes like a chore, and you have just created a job for yourself. So that's not where we want to go. So make sure that you as a leader upgrade yourself, upgrade your mindset, upgrade everything that you do in a way that you can let go and that you can really focus on the fun stuff of the business as well. It's about knowing who you are. It's about knowing your purpose, knowing your values, and having a clear leadership philosophy. You have to write it down. How would you know otherwise? How would you be able to communicate that to your team if you don't even know yourself, right? So get it out of your head and get it down on paper. Secondly is your team. If you start scaling, do you know if your team will be able to handle the extra pressure, to handle all the extra work that is coming to them? If they're not, most probably they will just start leaving. You will not be able to keep them on board because the stress will be too high. They will drop the ball, they will make errors, deadlines will not be reached because they are just so stressed and there's so much pressure on the team to fulfill all these extra customers that they're not capable of catching up. And you can say, okay, just add more team members. Sure, you can add any team members, but who says that those team members will be immediately ready to take on all the work? Are they ready to fit in the current team? Will that work? Do they align with your values? Do they align with your purpose? You can't just add just people and just hope that everything will go right. You have to communicate. Maybe you have to train these people. Do you have time to train these people? Or do you have SOPs ready? Do you have training videos ready for those new members that are coming to the team? And even if you have those things already, just imagine that it will take time for them to get on board the company, to get themselves worked into the process. And if there's not that alignment between you and the team, things will go wrong. Things will start going wrong. And instead of you will maybe have 5 more customers that you can service, but those 5 new customers get a great experience, but you forget to service those existing customers maybe, and one of them will start saying, okay, but if you cannot provide the same kind of level of fulfillment to me, I'm not going to stay with you. So instead of adding 5 customers, you're already losing a couple of customers that you already had because you cannot focus enough, because your team is not focused, because you don't have maybe enough team members, and there's not alignment between you and the team. So a lot of these things don't necessarily have to do with just adding more team members or adding more customers. It's really looking at the foundation of your company. In corporate business, where I have been working for the past decades, before I jumped into the coaching, I saw a lot of this. I saw a lot of helping build up the company, divisions, but it's always the same question. If tomorrow 10 new customers arrive, are you ready to service those customers? Most of the time, the answer is no, because you still have to prepare, you have to build your systems, you have to build your team, you have to build yourself to be able to sustain that. So it's important to think about that. It's important to think about yourself as a leader, your team, and lastly, third piece is definitely also the systems part. Like I said, you can have already systems in place that are able to work with the amount of customers that you have right now. But again, if tomorrow 10 new customers arrive, are you able to put them into your onboarding process? Will these systems still work? Will they be overloaded or not? And a specific system can be that a list of tasks needs to be done by somebody from the team. But again, adding 10 customers immediately or over the course of a couple of weeks might mean that instead of doing things manually, they will have to be done automatically. And how will you do this? What kind of tools do you need for that? So there's a lot more than just adding just more customers. And that's where a lot of business owners go wrong. And instead of creating a bigger business for themselves, they just create a bigger mess. They create a bigger pressure, more stress, more overwhelm. And eventually they start like resenting their position or their business even. They start getting drained emotionally, physically. They're not able to muster up the energy to keep this going. So that's a situation where you don't want to be in. So you have to really think about this. Are you really ready to scale? And are you ready as a leader? Is your team ready? Are your systems ready? Think about that. And if you come up with questions on how to do things, or if you're stuck somewhere, just reach out. I'll be happy to help and to give you a clear roadmap how you can really solve this. Like I said, the growth sprint formula is made a little bit for that. So definitely something to think about. I'll see you next time.